Assalamu Alaikum. Hello my dear students. So this is the last section of our chapter. What is our chapter name? Electronic configuration and a periodic table. So in the previous classes we were discussed about the characteristics of S block elements and the characteristics of P block elements and how to find the group numbers of S block and P block. Okay, and also D block. In the last section we were discussed about how to find the group number of D block elements. And we discussed about one main thing, that there is only a small difference of the energy between the outermost subshell and the penultimate subshell of the transition elements. So it shows different oxidation status. There is a small energy difference between the shells of D and S. D and S, there is only a small difference between this D subshell and S subshell. So it shows very different oxidation state. It is shown by the D block. Okay. So and then like that there is another property for this D block element. It forms the colored compound. The D block elements forms the colored compounds. Okay. So D block elements are otherwise called transition elements, and these transition elements or the D block elements show various different oxidation state, and it also show the property of color variation, or it forms the colored compound. What is the speciality of this D block element? It forms the colored compound. It is the speciality of this D block element. Okay, it forms the colored compound. It forms the colored compound. So we can check what are the elements in that colored compound. Okay. So the first one is copper. Okay, copper sulfate, CuSO4. Copper sulfate. The copper sulfate show the blue color. Okay, the copper sulfate show which color? The copper sulfate show the blue color, and there is also other element, cobalt nitrate. Cobalt nitrate, it shows which color? Cobalt nitrate shows pale pink. Okay, pale pink. And the another one is potassium permanganate, KMnO4. Potassium permanganate, and it shows which color? It shows which color? Then pink color. Okay, so it shows pink color. It is show pale pink. The cobalt nitrate show pale pink, and KMnO4. KMnO4 means potassium permanganate, and potassium permanganate show which color? Pink color. Okay, there is another one, ferrous sulfate. FeSO4, ferrous sulfate, and it shows which color? Ferrous sulfate shows pale green. Pale green. Okay. These are the some of the compounds of D block elements which show which forms the colored compounds. What are they? Copper sulfate. Copper sulfate is blue in color, and cobalt nitrate, it is pale pink. KMnO4 means potassium permanganate, it shows the pink color, and iron sulfate, along ferric sulfate. Okay, it shows the pale green. Okay, ferrous, it is the ferrous sulfate, and ferrous sulfate shows the pale green. So these are the some of the compounds which show the colored compounds in D block or the transition elements. In the series of this transition elements, which are they? Copper sulfate show blue color, cobalt nitrate pale pink, and potassium permanganate, it is pink in color, ferrous sulfate is pale green. Okay, so we are going to learn the last section of this chapter, F block elements. The last block is the F block. We know that the periodic table consists of 4 blocks: S block, P block, D block, and F block. In the previous classes we were discussed about the specialities and how to find the group numbers of these elements. So in the last section is the F block elements. Now we are going to learn about the characteristics of F block elements. Okay, F block elements. So what is an F block element? We know that in periodic table the last 2 sections are the F block elements. Can you see the periodic table? In periodic table there is the last block. Okay, where the last block? So this is the last block, and this is the F block, this is the D block and P block. The last one, F block consists of lanthanum and actinum. Okay, this is the F block. So we were discussed about detailedly in the previous classes, and now we are going to learn about the characteristics of F block elements. The F block elements are the elements coming after lanthanum and actinum. Lanthanum and actinum. Okay. So the F block elements consist of lanthanum and actinum. So this is the last block in the periodic table, F block elements. The F block elements coming after lanthanum and actinum and are placed in 2 rows at the bottom of the periodic table. We have already learned about that. It is placed in the last section of the periodic table and it's coming after lanthanum and actinum. It is coming after what? Lanthanum and actinum. Okay. So the last electron, like the other block, that is S block, if we consider the S block, the last electron filled in the S subshell. If we consider the P block, the last electron is filled in the P block, and like the D block, last electron is filled in the block. Here also the last electron is filled in the F block. Last electron is filled in the F block and it is coming after the lanthanum and actinum, and it is situated below the periodic table. Okay. So the elements in the first row are called lanthanoids. We know that. Two rows in periodic table, lanthanum and actinum is seen below the periodic table, and it is first lanthanum. So this is the lanthanum and this is the actinum. Rows and columns are arranged. So the last row is called F block elements, and it is the lanthanum and it is the actinum. Okay. So lanthanoids, and the second row is called actinoid. The first row is called lanthanoids and the second row is called actinoids. The first row is called lanthanoids and the second row is called actinoids. Okay. In F block elements, there is the first row is called lanthanoids and the second row is called actinoids. Okay, these elements belong to the 6th and 7th period. Which period it belongs? It belongs to the 6th and 7th period. It belongs to the 6th and the F block elements belongs to the 6th and 7th period. 6th and 7th period, the F block element we can see. Okay. On examining the subshell electronic configuration, you can find that the last electron is filled in the F subshell. We know that. The F subshell is last electron fill in. The last electron is filled in the F subshell. So there are certain characteristics for this F block elements. Now we can discuss about that. Okay. So the characteristics of F block elements. The F block elements consist of lanthanum and actinum, and the first row is called lanthanoids and the second row is called actinoids, and it consists of it is in the 6th and 7th period. Now we are going to discuss about the specialities of this. There are some specialities for this D block elements and we can discuss about that. Okay. Like the first one is, like the D block elements, most of this show variable oxidation status. Like we know that the D block element has a speciality. What is that speciality? The D block elements shows different oxidation state. Why it shows the different oxidation state? Because there is a slight difference between the D block, the last subshell D and S block. So it shows vary oxidation state. Like the D block, the F block also show different oxidation state. The first point is to show the different oxidation state. Okay, to show the different oxidation state. So what is the second point about F block elements? Most of the actinoids are radioactive. മിക്കവാറും എല്ലാ അവിടെ മെറ്റൽസും നോൺ മെറ്റൽസും അല്ല, they are radioactive. Radioactive elements ആണ്. We can see the radioactive elements in the F block elements. Most of the actinoids are radioactive and artificial elements ആണ് അല്ലേ. Artificial ആണ്, natural elements അല്ല, artificial elements ആണ്. Most of the lactinoids അല്ലെങ്കിൽ lanthanoids എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എന്താണ്? Most of the actinoids are radioactive and artificial elements. So the second speciality is most of the lactinoids are radioactive and artificial elements. Okay, radioactive and artificial elements. So the second feature is most of the actinoids are radioactive and artificial elements. Okay, the third point is uranium and thorium, plutonium. Uranium, thorium, plutonium. plutonium. These are the radioactive. We know that these are radioactive. And uranium, thorium and plutonium are used in the nuclear reactors. So it is very important. Uranium, thorium and plutonium in the F block and it is used in the reactors. Nuclear. It is used in nuclear reactors. Nuclear reactors elements. These are radioactive and it is used in the nuclear reactors. Okay, so F block elements is very important. Many of them are used in catalyst in the petroleum industry. So many of them used as catalyst. Okay, catalyst or catalyst? Catalyst in the petroleum industry. So what is a catalyst? എന്താണ് കാറ്റലിസ്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്? അതായത് എന്താണ് കെമിക്കൽ റിയാക്ഷനിൽ പിന്നെ ഡയറക്റ്റായിട്ട് എന്താണ് ഇൻവോൾവ് ചെയ്യാതെ കെമിക്കൽ റിയാക്ഷൻസിനെ കൺട്രോൾ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന എന്താണ് കെമിക്കൽസിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ കാറ്റലിസ്റ്റ് എന്ന് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സബ്സ്റ്റൻസിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ കാറ്റലിസ്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അല്ലേ? വി ഓൾറെഡി ലേൺ ഇൻ ദ ലോവർ ക്ലാസ്സസ്. സോ കാറ്റലിസ്റ്റ് ഇൻ ദ പെട്രോളിയം ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി. So F block elements are used as catalyst in the petroleum industry. So catalyst speed up the chemical reaction. What is the function of this catalyst? Catalyst function and then it is speed up the chemical reaction. So these are the four characters of main character important points of about the F block elements. The first one is it shows like the D block element, it shows the different oxidation state, and the second one is the actinoids consist of radioactive and artificial elements. The third point is uranium, thorium and plutonium are, we know that they are radioactive element, and the uranium, thorium and plutonium are used in nuclear reactors. The last point is it is the F block elements used as a catalyst in the petroleum industry. So this is about the F block element. Okay, so this is the last section of our chapter. So എന്താണ് നമ്മൾ ഈ ചാപ്റ്ററിൽ പഠിച്ചത്? What are the things we learned this chapters? Yes, block element, mainly about the block elements. The periodic table consists of S, P, D and F block elements. In this class we were discussed about the characteristics of F block elements and its importance of the F block elements, and the F block elements are lies in the 6th and 7th period, and it is coming after lanthanum and actinum. So this is the speciality of this F block elements. Okay, so in the next class we will learn about the next second chapter. What is the second chapter? Gas laws and mole concept. And in your page, in your text there is page number 28. You can see the table 1.18. You do the ആ table complete ചെയ്യുക. Okay, you just do complete the table and send me on WhatsApp. Okay, എന്താണ് ഇപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് wind up ചെയ്യാം. Now we can wind up the class. Thank you.